information systems is class. And then we're going to talk about what will be covered by this course. Then we talk about the textbook assessment and many other things. Why accounting information system? And this topic is becoming more and more important. Right, back in 2012, in the CPA journals, they have a good article about why technology matters in this industry. I think it's about 12 years later, okay, it has been proved that this is a very important topic. Why? Because technologies like computers, internet, mobile devices have changed the whole industry, changed the world basically. Right? Look at all the technology systems we're using. The ERP, CRM, XBOL, and cloud-based solutions, and all these are new. About 12 years ago, 20 years ago, these things are new, but now all these things are together with us in our daily life. Therefore, CPA should have a good understanding of these information technologies. And we need to know the accounting softwares deep enough. Not only we need to know how to use, but also how to help those technicians or the programmer to improve those softwares. All right, so basically this brings in considerations. Everyone knows that this is an important topic. And survey shows that the work relating to accounting systems, the single most important activities performed by corporate accountants. Well, corporate accountants their daily life is fixed. Everyone is going to do it one type of work, corporate accounting. So we're going to use those like ERP systems every day, basically. So knowing accounting software packages is a value enhancing for a career. Okay, but that's not enough. What's more important is AIS becomes a more and more important topic in CPA exams. Previously, accounting information system is mainly tested in the BEC section, which is business environment and concept section. Okay, which is a relatively easy one. Everyone can pass, most people can pass this section without problems, right? While its skills will be tested in all other sections, like audit sections as well. Anyway, not important enough. Now, starting from 2024, this year, starting from this year, the CPA exam has changed the model, okay? Now, the new exam model is core plus discipline model, 1+1, 4 plus discipline model. So let me explain to you what is this new model. Why AIS is an important topic now. Previously, we have 4 tests to complete the CPA exams for, right? Which is the accounting, financial accounting reporting, for direct, audit, and BEC. Okay, on the 4 sections previously we have. Now, under the new model, the 4 will be tested in 2 places. We're going to have the 4 core, which is the basic fundamental stuff for FAR, financial accounting reporting. And then the more difficult topics will move to this discipline called business analysis and reporting, the BAR. Okay, this is the first discipline we have. And the regulation part, we're going to have the regulation core. And we have another discipline. The more difficult topics will become the tax compliance and planning discipline. That's obvious. That's for tax, for the tax discipline, right? If you're interested in tax, you take this discipline. The audit remain the same. Audit will remain as audit core. Now the BEC, business environment concept, will be tested in two places. Financial reporting stuff. Yes, or this information system and tools, ISC, become a new discipline. So we have 4 core and 3 disciplines. Anyone who wants to pass the CPA exams, you have to pass both the 4 core. Okay, and you're going to select one of those disciplines. If you're interested in financial reporting, try to choose the business analysis reporting, which is very useful for either corporate accountant or audit. Right? If you're interested in tax, you choose the tax compliance and planning discipline. So we have a new discipline here, which is information system and control discipline. Okay, this is a really new discipline. And that's for accounting information system specifically. Do you like technology? And if you want to be either accountant or audit, okay, you're going to choose this discipline. And I'll explain. In fact, many people on the internet, they're saying that this might be a good choice. And I'll explain why this might be a good choice. No matter which discipline you choose, okay, you're going to get the same certificate. So it doesn't matter. You need to pass one of those disciplines. All right, that's new CPA model. So as I said, under this new CPA model, accounting information system become a very important topic now. So as I said, each candidate must pass all the core tests, and then you're going to choose one of discipline to demonstrate your skills and knowledge in that area. So let's talk about the information system and control section specifically. The information system control section has 3 parts, right? 3 parts, 3 areas to test. First, on the top, we have the this called information system and data management. It's about 45%. The second part is security, confidentiality, and privacy, the same weight. Then we have this third part has a smaller weight, which is considerations of system and organization controls. Which is also known as a SOC engagement, that's about 15 to 25%. Okay, and how the skills are expected. As you can see, 50 to 65% are expected for you to remember and understand these topics. Think about it. What does it mean to remember and understand? Well, that's the basic skills, right? If I see let's say if we explain how a system operates, okay, you just remember how it operates and understand the concept and behind those topics, and that's it. Okay, it's not going to ask you to do a calculation or analyze the case study now. So these are the basic questions. It's about 60%. That's a lot. Applications to use your knowledge to answer the questions, about 20 to 30%. Analysis, which is a more and more skills to solve problems, it's only 10 to 20%. And there's no skills required for evaluation, unlike the other sections. So many people said, well, this discipline could be the easiest one among the three disciplines.
Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
all right, so let's take a look at those topics covered by this section and to see what we can do in this class. Okay, we're not going to cover everything, but we're going to definitely go through those important topics required for this section. By the way, this note is available in Canvas, so you can download anytime you want. And I will upload all the other notes this week. So section 1, information system and data management, that's about 40%. It's a kind of very small, but let's see if we can see it. Let's see. All right, so in area 1, information system and data management, the first is IT infrastructure. IT infrastructure, to talk about, right? Explain the purpose and recognize examples of key component of IT architecture. So we're talking about operating system, service, network infrastructure, and user devices. Okay, we're going to talk those topics. We're going to explain how network is set up and how securities, privacy, confidentiality devices will be needed for our network. So that's easy topic, and those are remembering and understanding. Right, we're going to talk about how cloud computing, right? How cloud computing models are used. I'm not sure if you can see it clearly, right? For cloud computing, there are a couple of models. The IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. It means we have a different level of control of the cloud-based computing. Right? Under the infrastructure base, we have the most control of the cloud computing, which means we're going to purchase most of the devices, but we're going to leave the computing power to the cloud service providers. But for the software based, okay, we're going to leave most of the stuff operated by the cloud-based computing providers. Think about it like the Google Drive we use. That's a software based, right? I have nothing, just to take out a cell phone and you can use the Google Drive. That's it, right? That's a software based cloud computing. That's the most convenient and simplest services we can have. But for big corporations, they may want to the infrastructure based, they want to keep their computers and devices and their data within the companies. Okay, so we have different choices. We're going to talk about that. But those are easy topics. So for each of those topics, we're going to talk about the role of responsibility, right? And the governing framework, like the coastal framework, how coastal framework addressed cloud-based computing. Okay. Next topic is enterprise accounting information system. We talk about ERP, right? We have some ERP all the time. And accounting information system, how do they work? Again, for each of those things, we're going to explain how the governing framework also are used to evaluate risk associated with this stuff. And now we have a new concept of blockchain comes into AIS in recent years. We are going to cover a little bit about blockchain. This might be a more important topic in the future, but this just begins. Okay, this topic just begins. Blockchain. I think it will have great potential in accounting. We also talk about the business process, how business process improve the performance of accounting information system, like robotic process automation, outsourcing, system changes. Okay, we all have these topics in this course. Right before the analysis part, it says we're going to reconcile the actual sequence of steps and the information documents, tools, and technology used in the key business process. So basically, we're going to go through all these important business process, like sales, right, purchasing, human resources, all these important processes, and how we can apply the accounting information system. How do we document those processes? Okay, to document these processes, we need tools like flowchart, right, the business process diagram, and other things. All these will be covered. All these will be covered by this course. Another important analysis part is how to detect deficiencies in those business processes. Okay, once we detect deficiencies, how to enhance our controls. Okay, all these things will be covered. Our next topic is availability, which is easy to understand, right? If it's computers out of power, it's not available. It's the same thing for systems. When the system is not available, it's going to cause big troubles. So we're going to talk about availability of the systems, and all those topics are related to the availability of the systems. And we're going to cover many of these topics. The next one is the change management. So a lot of crisis happens when company has a change management. Many things may happen. Accounting is the most important part. Okay, suffers a lot when there's a change management. So we're going to talk about the purpose of change management related to internal hardware and software applications, especially the risk associated with management changes. I don't think we're going to talk too much about these topics. We're going to cover slightly these topics, but again, it's not a difficult topics. Change management. And next is the data management, which is a very important topic. Not only it's useful in accounting, it's useful everywhere. So let's see what are those important topics. So we're going to talk about data collections, method and techniques, right? And how do we store data? Right, like data warehouse, data lake, data mart, database, schemas. All these things are very important topic if we are talking about data analytics. Then we're gonna explain the database structures. What is a database? How database is structured. Very importantly, we're going to learn how to use the standard SQL query. This is a database language, SQL query languages, to get data from the database. We're gonna have some practice of the SQL query in this course. Then how to document the business process with those tools, flow chart, data flow diagram, and those tools. We're going to use those tools to identify potential improvement about a database. So database will be a very important topic in this course. We're going to spend a few lectures on database. It's the theory and the application. And we have a chapter on data analytics, which I think is useful everywhere now. That's area 1. Okay, so area 1, it's more about the systems, the hardware, the software. Now, area 2 of this section, it's more about the theory. Okay, and regulations, securities, confidentiality, and privacy. Okay, those are the reason why we have accounting information systems, why we have so many is that we want to have the securities private. We're going to protect confidentiality and privacy of our data. The first section of this topic is more about regulations, so it's remember and understand. Not so difficult. Take a look at those regulations to see how many of these things are new. Some of these things are also new to me because some of these things just came out in recent years. Like this is HIPPA, security and privacy rules. HIPPA, it's a Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. So the HIPPA is frequently used in healthcare insurance industries. A very important act. We also need to know the GDPR, which is a General Pass Protection Regulation. GDPR is for European Union, EU. Very important act that protects customers' privacy, confidentiality. GDPR. Often we see GDPR in news that EU is going to fine this company, that company, billions of dollars. It's all based on GDPR. I think recently Microsoft was sued by European unions or maybe Google. They're asking for billions of dollars because these companies potentially violate the GDPR in Europe. Basically, if any citizens from the European Union, their customer data is leaked, okay, and these European unions may sue those companies. Okay, we have similar rules in California about that shit. We have rules for PCI DSS. Right, basically, there's a digital payment requirement we know it's another important area is that we need to protect our confidentiality and privacy. Right, and many others. So we're not going to cover all these things, but we're going to cover some of those important topics of the regulations and framework. Second, it's about securities. Securities, that's an important topic on accounting information system. We're going to learn what are those threats, that's going to attack our systems, right? It's either physicals or software attacks like cyber attack. We're going to identify the common cyber attack used and how we're going to how are we going to mitigate those threats. So for the threats and attacks, we're going to also talk about cybersecurity risks related to Internet of Things. Internet of Things become an important topic now. It's everywhere. For example, this camera, they have Internet of Things because it may capture data of this smartphone and send it to everywhere. To the internet, right? Or your refrigerator at home may have these devices that's going to communicate with grocery store, right? Those are Internet things that there's a potential risk of being attacked basically for those things. So we're going to talk about those things. All right, so once we have those threats, how to mitigate, identify ways to protect our networks. We're going to talk about a VPN, something like that. Okay, that's a. Talk about what is the defense in depth, and let's see what's next. And we have the causal framework again, how to use causal framework to enhance our securities. If we look at all these lists, we have the right how to protect identification and authorizations, like the password, the PIN numbers, digital signatures. Okay, we're going to talk about those things for sure. That's how to mitigate those threats. And then the next topic is testing. Basically, that's detect deficiencies related to those topics. That's what's covered in testing topic. The next is confidentiality and privacy. The same thing. We're going to talk about what happens, right? Like encryptions, fundamentals. Encryption is going to protect confidentiality, privacy. How does this work? How does this work? Right? Identify methods for the protection of confidential data. Like the data loss preventions, determine controls, right? Used in those in protecting confidentiality, privacies, and how to detect deficiencies in those areas. If anything happens, we have an incident, and how do we have incident responses? We also have related topics. The third area, which is a small area, that's a 15 to 25%. This is about the SOC engagement, everything is remembering, understanding, which is good. So let me explain to you what is SOC engagement. We know if we have a financial results, we're gonna hire auditor to give us an opinion, right? That's a typical auditing work we have. Now, once we have the information system, things gonna change a little bit because all our financial results come from the information system we use. Okay, so how do we convince users or investors our accounting information comes from an appropriate information system? The system is going to protect, okay, from cyber attacks. The system is going to protect confidentiality, protect privacy. Okay, how do we convince this information system is good? And we have this concept. So we're going to have the provider of this information system to hire auditor. The auditor is going to examine the information system provider and give us an audit opinion. This is called a SOC engagement. Okay, basically the audit firm is going to send out the accounting information system specialist, okay, to examine the information system providers. They give a audit opinion, unqualified, which means okay, perfect, nothing wrong, and give us a certificate. And they're going to send a certificate to their customers, and the customers like me is going to send my this certificate to my auditors, financial auditors, to see okay, this system is okay. So all the financial data coming from this system should be okay. So now, not only are we going to have the regular auditings, we're going to have this SOC engagement. That's IT auditing. So we're not going to talk a lot about these topics, but we're going to cover a little bit. And things are changing really quickly, so we're going to have SOC 1, SOC 2, and SOC 3 reports, but they're related. So we're going to talk about that as well. And all these things about a SOC engagement. Right, so what's your opinion about this discipline? If you like computers, like information stuff, like the new stuff, and this discipline is easy for you. Think about it. Compare these topics with solving a very difficult accounting consolidation problems or with a difficult tax compliance questions. These topics are easy. As long as you can remember and understand these things, it'll be fine. There's no calculation at all. Anyway, so these are the topics covered by the ISC sections for CPA exams. And we're going to cover not all of them, but most of these topics. But if you're interested, if you want to prepare for the CPA exams, you need to go through all these topics carefully. But we're going to give you a build of foundations for your accounting information system knowledge in this course. Any questions? I'll give you another reasons why accounting information system is a good is a good area is that CITP. We're going to have the certified information technology professionals. This is IT's specialty designated for CPA only. So to get this certificate, you must first become a CPA. Then you're going to pass this exams to become a CITP. And after a couple of years work experience, okay, you get a certificate eventually. Okay, so it's a very, very unique certificate. So who is going to have the SOC engagement do the work? It's not ordinary auditors. Okay, it should be auditors with this certificate because you understand how information technology works for the company. So you need to understand how organizations use IT to achieve their business objective. So if you have CPAs, if you have this certificate, it give you a lot of benefit. You're going to have the advantages over your colleagues, okay? Because you're going to do all this SOC engagement, which become more and more important in the future. All right, so back to this course now. Cover these broad topics like accounting information system in the business world. We're going to talk about how accounting information system is structured. Let's start from the very beginning, the data collections to the business processes. Everything will be covered. And we're going to talk about fraud and controls. This is also an important topic in CP exams. So what are those threats, right, to the systems? In accounting, we're talking about fraud. So there's a lot of fraud. How do we enhance our controls to mitigate those attacks? So that's a big topic. We also cover data analytics. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about documentations. How do we document information system? And how do we build a database? Okay. And how do we obtain information from the database using the SQL queries? And finally, the application of accounting information system on certain business processes. We're going to focus on several processes like revenue processes and expense processes and other processes. Basically, we're going to talk about how we can apply accounting information system to those processes. Specifically, that is how to find out deficiencies in those processes and how do we enhance our controls. In addition to these topics from the textbook, we also have additional application of the accounting information systems. We're going to cover the QuickBooks, which is a very popular accounting software. We're going to cover QuickBooks online, so you have a chance to know a little bit about QuickBooks online. We're not going to cover everything, but those are just basic operation of QuickBooks online. We have that section, and we have a small sections that cover a little bit about ERP. Okay, we're not going to simulate ERPs, but instead we are going to cover, or I should say, you are required to have additional reading about ERP knowledges from the SAP